In a world infested with semi-mediocre podcasts, only one show can bring you an exceptionally mediocre podcast. It's the Indispensable Thursday Show with Sable and Dave.
Hey Dave, you know what time it is?
What time is it, Sable?
It's time for the Indispensable Thursday Show.
So soon? I didn't prepare. I prepared nothing. Oh, I'm kidding. I got lots of stuff to say. We usually start out with a joke.
We're trying
to start off with a joke now, but I think I'm going to start out with Woody Allen quotes just forever until we get tired of him, because I think Woody Allen, although his personal life is still a steaming turd, like weaponized nuclear waste train wreck of a shambles. Mm-hmm. He probably has provided me, I think, the most laughs of anybody. I mean, the guy's a prodigy, a comedy genius, and I don't think anybody's ever written as many funny words as this guy. And this exemplifies it, I think. He says, I think this might have been one of his stand-up comic jokes when he was doing stand-up. Let's see if I can do my Woody voice here. So I'm very proud of my gold pocket watch. My grandfather, on his deathbed, sold me this watch. That's a funny line.
It's a great line. Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're drinking Jefferson again, this bourbon.
That's right.
So good.
I had a little conversation on Twitter about how sort of everything's becoming a drinking club. You join a country club, you go to play golf with your buddies. That's a drinking club. You get together for a political action committee. That's a drinking club. You get appointed in local government. That's basically a drinking club. So we figured, why not? The podcast, it turns out, according to Twitter, is just a drinking club. And that's all right.
Podcast in general, or this podcast?
This podcast in general.
I'm flattered.
That's why we do it in the evening. We got to have an excuse to tell the wives so we can get together and have a couple drinks.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Otherwise, they'll think something inappropriate's going on, like video games or watching TV shows or something.
We have a dog sleeping on the floor near us tonight, too. Hopefully he'll provide some good mojo for us. Yeah,
well, Coda, our special guest today, he's a beautiful caramel-colored Belgian Malinois, but he's very old. The most entertainment he's likely to provide is a flatulence that will drive us to hit the pause button.
Belgian Malinois, that's really good with like a vanilla ice cream, like it's slightly warmed. It's some good stuff. So I'm put it in the microwave for 12 seconds. It is perfect.
So you told me about something earlier in the week that you were
on your face. By the way, what was that? It's like a dead fly or something by your ear.
It's my beard and mustache.
No, it's that whatever that. It looks like a fly landed there, but I think it fell off. Okay, anyway, this is great pod because no one can see this.
Thanks, appreciate that.
What were you gonna say? Sorry.
So you were telling me about a service you're gonna pay $20 a month for. That I was so surprised. I had never heard of Sling.tv.
Oh, yeah.
And now this week, that's all I've heard about is
Isn't that weird how that happens? You never heard of something and then you hear it 20 times the next week? Like a word that you didn't think you knew?
Or when you're going out to look at cars, or you buy a car and every car on the road is like, oh, everyone has this. So you've been using Sling.tv. What do you think about it?
I've been looking at it. I don't think I'm going to keep it just because it's not quite ready for me to keep, but it does allow you to... It basically slings certain channels to your any internet device, your iPhone or your Android. I think it's Android too, Mac, PC, and my Roku box. I throw it up there. But you can watch TNT and TBS and ESPN 1 and 2, which is good. If you're a sports fan, this is good. I only really like NBA stuff right now, and the Lakers are not doing well, so that's not really that fun. But the Clippers are doing well, so it's fun to watch. But they don't have it quite enough games yet for me to really pull the trigger on it, but I can see that this is a good thing, and I wanted to try it out. I wanted to show interest because I want it to get more popular. But if you're a general sports fan, I could see how this could be really good for you because ESPN 1 and 2 is on there.
What about Disney? Do you get Disney on there?
I think the Disney Channel is on there. At least I don't know how many channels they have.
Is it XD? Because that's where Star Wars Rebels is.
I don't know. I'll have to look at that. I haven't drilled down too far into their selections yet.
What's that channel that has Better Call Saul?
I don't know. I barely heard of that show too. It's a spinoff of some other show that I don't watch.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking,
you didn't watch
okay. No, I've seen Breaking Bad a little
Okay.
bit, but I've seen like one season.
You know, for a critic and a writer, I would suggest to you that Breaking Bad is probably worth investing a little time in.
Yeah, I'm more of a movie guy, but I do like this series, and they are good. So I'm watching Justified right now, which I like a lot.
Well,
so.
you watched. Well, I think you got fully caught up on the Game of Thrones, right?
Yes.
So they took from Breaking Bad some of the directors and brought them into Game of Thrones because their cinematography was so amazing.
Okay, good.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of drug culture, but it was a good show.
Yeah.
So Better Call Saul, the pilot's free on iTunes. I'm going to watch it. But it's not one of the shows that comes to me over the air. See, I'm one of those guys that I didn't want to pay for cable years ago, and then I just stopped paying
Me
for
too.
it. I put a $20 antenna up above my TV, and I get beautiful HD. When
That's
wanna
why I watch the Super Bowl on my
right.
rabbit ears, my modern rabbit ears that catches the HD.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
When are they gonna just give us what the F we want?
I think it's coming.
Because that's why I wanted to support Sling this way, because
Right.
eventually they're just going to have to, okay, look, let's just give if the guy wants to just watch the Lakers play the Spurs and that's the only game he wants to watch, let him buy the freaking thing, let him pay a couple bucks and watch the stupid game online. Why not? There's no reason. They have the technology. There's no reason. They just want to be
Right.
douchebags and not give it. They want us to bundle. They want to bundle everything together and make you pay
Right.
an exorbitant fee.
Well, HBO's
Screw you guys.
HBO's going to unbundle, right? They're going to allow, I don't know how much it's going to be, $15 a month or $20 a month, but they're going to be able to get HBO.
Great.
That's
Good. It's
I
a coming thing. They got no choice but to pony up with this.
I think a lot of people had cable just to get HBO because it's a pretty good service.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just those top few, Showtime, HBO, and whatnot. Mhm.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, you can get some of that stuff you can get on the Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't have an Apple TV.
I
On
got
the Apple
Roku.
TV, you have all these different apps. NBA app. There's no NFL on there, but you can get. Let's say you want to watch baseball, you can subscribe to it for some ungodly sum of money. But then you can watch all these dozens of different baseball games. You can watch everything except what's locally over the air in your area.
Yeah, which is why it's the NBA League Pass had that. You can watch all the basketball games except the ones you want to watch.
That's right.
On this service. I'm like, oh, well, sign me up.
Oh,
Wow.
I still don't understand.
Can you send somebody over to flatten my tires too? And like maybe put some weed killer on my lawn and then put like a big penis shape on my lawn?
maybe
Sorry,
a burning
brother.
cross?
I'm feisty tonight. Yeah, burning cross, exactly.
Nice.
What else do we have to talk about? I know we got lots of things to talk about, but
Well,
so
actually-
Sling. So check it out. Sling. You have to be invited. You have to sign
Not
up
anymore.
and say, oh, is it
It's
wide
wide
now?
open.
Great,
Wide open.
awesome.
That's why it came to my attention.
I had the heavy set black guy like unhook the velvet rope for me and let me in, and then put the rope back up.
You're good.
But now everybody's coming in.
You got
so,
the early preview to give us the don't buy.
yeah. I say if you're a sports fan, for sure, take a look
Okay.
at it. Yeah.
Well, we've been doing our podcast now, and we're on AHA Radio. People can listen to us in their cars on certain model Pioneer, whatever they're called, head units. I think my Honda Civic has it. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many podcasts on there yet, so I feel like we're sort of pioneering. I did some searching around. It was Twit and us.
Oh, we're in good
And I
company
said-
with
yeah,
Leo
that's-
Laporte, and
that's good
and
company
You should
right
tell
there.
Leo. You should call in with a fake problem with your computer and mention to Leo that we're the only other podcast on AHA Network with him.
Well, I tweeted Twit. So.
Okay, good.
I mean, maybe that's the same thing. I don't know.
Speaking of that, we got retweeted on our photo of Brian Williams that we made up.
All
We
right.
got retweeted by James Dellingpole, who's I'm a big fan of. He does a podcast. He's a British guy. He runs Breitbart.uk, and he's author of some interesting books. He's one of those climate deniers that doesn't think that climate actually happens. One of those
There is a
weirdos.
climate?
He doesn't think there's a climate. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but he's very funny, and he retweeted our picture. That was nice of him. And got no followers out of it, so awesome.
Oh,
I don't know. We might have got some hits because our show is mentioned on the photo. It's a nice little photo of Brian Williams inserting himself to historic events.
Well, honestly, I don't think that metrics are quite that important. Like, followers don't really matter. I don't know that the people on Twitter will be the same people listening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think that website hits matter that much, or even YouTube views, because that's not going to make any money off of that. What we really want is, I kind of think the show's funny. I think we're doing a pretty good job so far. I'd like to continue doing a good job, and I just want people to download the show.
Absolutely.
So if they download the show, eventually we can quit whatever else we were doing on Mondays or Tuesday nights for money.
I can quit dancing. I can get off the pole.
You don't have to turn on the red light.
Turn on the red light, you mean, huh?
Yeah, you won't
And
have
by
to
the way,
turn
if
on
you're
the red
listening
light.
on iTunes, hey, throw us a review. Get up there and give us a 5-star and give us a little review. You'd be giving
right.
us a huge reach around.
There you go.
Thank you.
So I was thinking with the show, maybe we should, let the audience get to know us a little bit. There's some questions that maybe I've already asked you before we started the podcast or something. So I thought I'd ask you now. Like what kind of video games do you play?
Video games. The last time I was into video games, I was playing Adventure and Asteroids and Space Invaders on Atari 2600.
Okay. I'm going to uncheck the one more thing in common. You may not be aware of this, but judging from the whole shelf full of video game boxes behind you, when they used to come in boxes and all the other
weird.
money I've spent on digital downloads, I'm a video game guy. I've been playing World of Warcraft for 10 years now. Well, off and on a little bit, but I'm currently playing again. I really like Hearthstone, collectible card game.
Do you feel you've gained anything other than just? I mean, it's amusing, it's fun. That's okay. It could be a stress reliever and it's fun. Do you think you've got anything else out of it though? Because some people claim that it works the brain out a little bit, especially when you're working with teams and doing stuff. It could have some beneficial. For me as a writer though, it's like bad news to start doing that. It's like I should have been working on this novel, but I played World of Warcraft for 17 hours straight, and it's like, I can't.
Well, maybe if you have that addictive personality, you should not play the addictive games. But other than the amusement, I mean the entertainment factor, it's a good value. If you paid $15 and you went to the IMAX theater, you got 2.5 hours of American Sniper. From our spoiler episode, then that's pretty good entertainment. But in a video game, you pay $40 and you get hundreds or thousands of hours of entertainment. So on the entertainment level alone, it's a good value.
Do video games offer you though, like what you get from a movie? Like let's pick Groundhog Day.
Okay.
I think I like watching Groundhog Day every year or so. It's actually a really good Christmas movie, even though it doesn't take place during Christmas. I think it's a good Christmas movie though to watch during Christmas.
Okay.
Because it's got snow in it, and it's one of those take stock of your life because the next year is coming up, and it feels like a Christmas movie. But I think I learn a lot from that movie. I think I've gained wisdom from that movie. But do you think that happens with video games in any sense?
Well, you have excellent writers. The same writers that used to be working in Hollywood are now working over in video games. You have great musicians, great orchestrators. The video game industry, if it's any indication, if you took all of the movie industry and all of that was a Snapchat from one of our listeners.
Oh, we got a Snapchat.
We'll have to check that.
Yeah.
You took all the movie industry revenue and all of the music industry revenue and you combine them together, you would almost match the game industry. So what the game industry is bringing to cinematography, to voiceovers, to an interaction with well-written, in-depth story. I think that you get attached to the characters in a video game story in a way that you can't get attached to many movies.
Do you ever find yourself like getting a little something in your eye, like during a scene in a video game? You can get emotionally. That's interesting. Oh, good.
There was a game I played briefly. It's still around, I think. Star Wars: The Old Republic, SWTOR, and each character you could play through the storyline, and it was different for each character. And I was playing an Empire sniper, and the story was so good. I had to pause and like, wow, I wonder what would have happened if I had made different choices. Like, that was incredible.
Interesting. I didn't expect that answer. That's cool. I like that.
But what I really get out of, especially World of Warcraft, what I personally get out of it is a lot of my friends play and have played Diablo 3, World of Warcraft. I just got in the Heroes of the Storm beta. I've met friends through gaming, and my existing friends get together. So it's a time where, like my friend Chris and I, he and his wife play. We get on Skype, we hang out for a couple of hours and play some World of Warcraft. We catch up on what's going on. Yeah, the leadership stuff, the organization, being able to.
I think I might like that. Yeah, playing. You're talking to each other too, like you have a headset on and stuff.
Just like we are right here.
That
like
would
this.
be pretty fun, actually. I wouldn't
so
mind
we're
trying.
playing, we're chatting. It's for me personally, it's a really great social event. So I like Magic the Gathering, and that I started playing that 20 years ago, and I just had Magic the Gathering over at my house on Saturday night.
And you still managed to have sex with girls during that time too, which is very
well, only one girl now for the last 10 years.
Yeah, right.
But
But
let's be clear. This for the record. I've been married for 10 years, and that marriage only worked out because other girls were into me. See, it helps that I play guitar. Like, they don't care if I play card games or board games, or I'll look at my gaming shelf over there. Star Trek, Catan, Seven Wonders, Zularedo, Ticket to Ride, Dominion,
You got
Seaside,
3
Dominion.
Battlestar Galactica boxes up there.
Yeah, that's right. Battlestar Galactica and 2 expansions.
3 Carcassones, which I have played.
3 Carcassonne, right? Game of Thrones board game. So, yeah, definitely I'd say gaming is sort of intrinsic to me.
I would probably get back into it if they maybe went a little retro on the controller, because to me, I had up, down, left, right, red button. This was easy for me to learn, but now I got a friend watching me play Halo, and I just kept running into the corner. Here's another room, and then I go back into the old room I was just in, running in the corner. He's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I can't figure out the controls. There's how many different buttons are on an Xbox controller?
I don't know,
Really?
16?
Yeah, I don't have the time to learn that. I don't want to.
All right, let's check our Snapchat from Anna. Let's see.
Snapchat from Anna.
Hey, heard about your show. John's here too. I guess we'll watch it. Okay, see you later. Bye.
You got to listen to it, Anna.
It really zoomed in on John's face there. His beard is getting very...
Do you know those people?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're good friends.
Good.
Drinking friends first, and Cards Against Humanity friends second.
All right.
You would like them.
Cool. Sounds great. I better get a Snapchat account so I can keep up.
That's right. I'm gonna have to let them know. Well, you can. We'll put stories up on Snapchat. So I wanted to ask you another question, if you don't mind. Not quite an interview process, but since our goal of the podcast really is to talk about living fulfilled, creative lives, right? Like it shows up in iTunes, and I really feel like our podcast should at least help somebody. Maybe just me, but it should help somebody. I want to know when you're sitting down to write for money, right? Because you should only ever write for money.
Yeah, well, let me think. It's going to be, I got to go way back in the Wayback Machine to when I was writing for money to remember this.
So when you're writing for money, I'm curious, what's your creative process like?
Oh, geez. Well, I guess the only thing I've really gotten paid for was some screenplays, and I'm only trying to think of a character who's got a problem, and do I make the character, do I make the character compelling enough to have people want to watch the character fulfill that goal, or maybe not fulfill the goal, as the case may be, and that's really my only thought is, every hero of a story, it could be some visual thing that gets you. Like for my novel, I was thinking, boy, I see these movies where guys are getting tortured and they're popping off to their torturers. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? They could slit your throat. Why would you pop off to these guys like this? They're just going to beat you more. And no one would ever actually do that to like, the ISIS. They tell them to, screw Muhammad. They never say that. But I'm like, would it be great if you could though? Like maybe if you were a guy who's maybe has superpowers and they put you up to the chair and they're trying to figure out why they can't like do anything to you. It'd be kind of a fun character to explore. That's why. So my character, he's a good old boy who gets superpowers, and I was kind of exploring that. Like, what if he could say anything he wants to anybody?
Okay, so when you get that thought, do you pretty immediately get into a flow and start writing?
No, I usually do a pretty heavy outline, and the next important thing is first you need to figure out why does this story need to happen to your hero, because he always has a problem that needs to be worked out. So you figure out what is his problem, and then the next thing is who is the villain and what does he want and how is he planning on doing it. Once you get those things solidified, then you can start filling in the stepping stones for the rest of the story. And it's pretty much the same type of story for a video game, a novel, a short story even, or a movie. It's the same. It's just a matter of
sounds like
length.
Story is the foundation there.
Yeah.
This sounds like film school, by the way.
Yeah.
Is this film school stuff?
I only went to Cal State Long Beach Film School for like 3 semesters, and I realized like they're not really going to teach me anything. They've never made anything here. A couple of guys I'm like,
You dropped
I just
out to
wanted
go on tour?
I just want, yeah, I just wanted to learn how to write. I'm like, I don't need to be paying this much to do that. So I took extension course from a guy who was someone recommended to me, a guy that I wrote Replicant with, and he's sold a few other things that I can't remember right now. And we have some award-winning screenplays we wrote too. A couple of things, but weren't bought yet. So
interesting. All right, I have one more question about your creative process.
Yeah.
Because on our project that we have yet to release, we did a lot of brainstorming, a lot of preliminary work. We did some character development, and then it seemed like the next day you had 20 pages down, and I couldn't make the leap from like where we were 2 days before to where you had gotten in what might have taken me, I don't know, hours, days, weeks, or months even.
that is what you call flow at that point, because I was getting into. I don't usually write that fast. That was unusual, but I was inspired, and I usually try to write. Here's the key to writing a long work, everybody. If you want to write a screenplay or a novel, don't ever think that you have to finish it, because that will make you not start. All you have to do is start it about 100 times. And you just say to yourself, set a timer for 9 minutes if you want. Say, I'm going to write for 9 minutes.
Okay.
And when the timer goes off, I can stop. Everybody can put 9 minutes aside to go. And invariably, you'll find that you end up writing for a half hour or an hour, and you get a lot more than you thought. But if that timer goes off and you want to stop, go ahead. But sit there and work on your thing for 9 or 12 minutes, whatever the number is you decide. And you'll find that eventually you've got 112 pages of a screenplay. You're like, whoa, now you got to trim it back to 105. But that's how you do it. Start it a lot, but you don't ever have to finish it. But you'll find once you get to the end, you're like, okay, now I can finish it. But it's going to be easy.
Interesting. Well, thanks for that.
But I got into the flow when we were doing the thing that you're talking about there, that we someday will debut on the show.
Our yet unreleased project. Mm-hmm. It's funny, though.
I think so.
I played it for a couple people, and they were like, "You did that?" I said, "Well, I had a co-writer. He really did most of the writing. I was kind of like a co-Google document owner."
I would still call you a co-writer of sorts, even though I wrote most of the actual sentences. But I was, we were bouncing ideas off. So, I put most of the periods and semicolons in.
I said, "Look, my pseudonym is on this. That means I get some credit, right?" I said, "Well, wait a second. At least I have access to the document."
You're going to get a pseudo check, and when we're done.
Oh, that's good. And all right, one more question before I rant.
Great, I didn't prepare
Girl
any
Scouts.
questions for you. I didn't know we were doing that, but
Well, I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
See, this is one of our secrets, dear listeners, is during the course of the week of the kids going to parties and hanging out and whatever else is going on, I don't ever bring up podcast topics. I just write them down in my little note.
Me too.
And I open them up on the day of the podcast, and it's like, bam! What podcast do you listen to, Dave?
Regularly, I listen to all of the Ricochet podcasts, which is sort of center-right talk shows. They've got, like I mentioned earlier, James Dellingpole, Rob Long, Peter Robinson, James Lilacs. They all have they'll do a show there. It's just a bunch of smart guys talking about center-right sort of stuff, and I listened quite a bit to the Adam Carolla podcast. He's got a couple now. He does one with Dennis Miller on Saturdays. It's very funny. And I listen to Dana Gould's podcast. So probably 5 or 6 podcasts for sure that I listen to. But I I listen to smart people talk about interesting stuff.
All right. Someday you're going to have to explain to me what center-right means. Although I think from that test you had me take, it might be me. I might be one of those guys.
You are. I don't know if we should talk about that on the pod here.
No, we shouldn't talk about that yet.
Okay.
Maybe after
Someday.
the podcast you can explain, because I've always wondered exactly what does that mean. But it probably will make sense, and I've never looked it up. Personally, I've been a fan of the Twit networks.
Yeah. I do listen to some of those too.
I started listening to Adam Curry, who's currently doing the No Agenda show, but he used to have one called the Source Code, or the Daily Source Code, I think. And that was interesting. It was mostly just him talking about stuff, trying to sell us Senseo machines or whatever.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Podcasting was pretty new. And so it was interesting to catch on some of these guys. Twit, This Week in Tech, This Week in Google, Security Now, Windows Weekly. I mean, unfortunately, I have to keep cutting podcasts out, because when I open up Overcast and I look at my subscriptions list, it's like there's no way I can get through these in a week. Back to Work is one of my favorite podcasts right now. I just subscribed to the Full of Sith Star Wars news.
Full of Sith, yeah.
I I didn't make it through the first episode that I subscribed to because it was like a live show and the sound was bad. Jesse Dollamore does I Doubt It with Dollamore. He's got this great radio voice.
He does. Yeah, I've heard one of those.
Oh, you did? Okay, I
you
sent
told me
you one
about
of
him.
those.
And you know this man, don't you?
That's right. I met him at Golden West College. And since I'm a gamer, I like to listen to The Instance, World of Warcraft podcast.
Golden West College, by the way, if you grew up around here, we used to call it UBL, University Behind Levitt's, because there was a giant Levitt's furniture store right there.
The University Behind
Yeah,
Levitt's.
UBL.
Paul's Security Weekly, that's a computer security podcast. Triangulation. These are just the podcasts that are currently have episodes in my player. I've got another giant list. See all these these are all podcasts that haven't put anything out in the last week or that I've already listened to this week.
So your podcast aggregator is writing checks that your body can't cash. That's what's going on.
Well, fortunately, my car has this great system, so when I drive to work, it just starts playing the podcast for me.
That's nice.
It's pretty nice.
I can't wait to have that next car.
Yeah, right. Your next car is going to be a whatever your wife wants. Your next car might be a Honda Fit. Hand me down.
Yeah, that's true. Could very well be. I want the self-driving motorhome is what I want. I just want to get in and say, take me to 7-Eleven, and I just want to lay down in the back.
7-Eleven, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I
if
could
you're
get a
going to do
Slim Jim.
if you're going to do the motorhome, though, don't you want to do the kind that has a big truck, like a Ford 1750 with 8 wheels, and then you attach like the 30-foot long trailer. That way you can park the trailer at the motorhome park and then drive your truck around to Walmart.
I don't know where I would store that. I don't know. As long as there's a bed in there, and air conditioning, I'm good. And it's a good sound system.
Okay. What's that trailer? The one that looks like it's from the 50s, but people are still driving them around today. Airstream.
Yeah,
those look
sweet.
good.
Yeah.
They still look nice.
No guy up in Palmdale. He's a director. I think he's a director. He's a second unit guy. But he has in his backyard. He has like a phony campsite set up. And it's got Airstream. They look like little cabins. And he's got looks like camp areas like where people can guests can sleep inside these. That's really cool.
Nice.
But anyway.
So have you been buying Girl Scout cookies?
We bought one box.
One box?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think Girl Scout cookies, at least in my neighborhood, they're sort of like a plague.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go to any store, anywhere, during Girl Scout cookie season without somebody trying to sell you Girl Scout cookies.
A Girl Scout or just somebody?
Somebody. Sometimes it's the mom. So a couple of years ago, it was getting so bad, I had to come up with a policy. I had to say, if parents ask me, I always say no.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If the girl is going to sell them, then I have to buy from the girl. So if the girl walked up and said, would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies? I'd say, yes, I'll buy one. And then I would give her my $4 and I'd buy a box and that would be it. And then I came home with dozens of boxes of Girl Scout cookies, which was ridiculous. But I wanted to support the girls and help build their self-esteem. And they learn all kinds of great things. But Girl Scout cookies are $5 a box now.
Inflation.
I'm like, just rate me now. And they're
okay.
And they're everywhere. I've seen them on both sides of the grocery store. One on each door. There's a table of little girls trying to
like
peddle
rival Girl Scouts.
Yeah, like different troops in different grocery stores.
Like west side, east side of the Ralphs. Were they flashing like gang signs at each other?
Yep. Now I had a really unique sell happen this Saturday night. Had some friends over to play some Magic the Gathering, and one of my friends, he brought some Girl Scout cookies, and he said his daughters were both Girl Scouts, and he had to buy boxes. I guess cases. Yeah, I guess it would be a case with the boxes inside. He had to buy some like 4 cases of it for the kids. So he just brought some, and he said, but I have some more in the car if you want some.
Cool.
I was like, first one's free, huh?
Private reserve.
What is this? Are you a drug dealer now?
Yeah. I got a
cookies
case of tagalongs in the back. It's my trunk. They're open, but they're still good.
Girl Scout cookies are putting parents into debt now.
Yeah, and they have to buy them first. You can't. It's not like you're just giving them the money. Yeah, you buy them and then you keep the money when you sell.
Okay, I thought he was doing a competition. I didn't know it was mandatory.
I think that's how they do it now. I'll probably find out soon because I have 2 daughters.
Oh, that's right. So
Yeah.
you're going to do the Girl Scout things?
Probably, yeah.
Now, are Girl Scouts related to Boy Scouts other than just by name?
I don't know.
Because the Boy Scouts of America have that whole thing where they're really anti-gay, heavy Christian organization, and with all the bad press, I just can't allow my boys to participate in the Boy Scouts of America.
I don't know. I haven't really looked into all the stuff they do, but I don't know.
So you don't have a moral. I don't know any moral reason to not support the Girl Scouts. It's just the Boy Scouts, the ones that I could do without.
Yeah. So they didn't want to have the gay scout leaders, I guess, right?
I think they're anti-gay as an organization.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean, though? Do they want to execute them or something, or do they just?
I don't know. You can't have gay scout leader.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Maybe you can't have gay scouts.
Mm-hmm. How old do the scouts get, though? Do they get how old is like an Eagle Scout?
I'm pretty sure that's high school age.
Yeah, see, that might be weird if you're sending because the scout leader would be attracted to. I might be attracted to a high school child that I was attracted to. Like, you're not going to send me out with the Girl Scouts that camping if they're of high school age. It's a little risky.
I think there are lots of
not
dads
me, but lots of guys.
I think there are lots of dads out there with the Girl Scouts, and you really only have to worry about the pedophiles.
Yeah.
And whether the scoutmaster was into men or women is.
Yeah. Do they send the dudes out to camp with the girls?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah. Like, you're going to be right out there taking your girls out with all the other dads.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a pedophile, too bad.
Well, if I'm with my own daughters, that's different. But if I'm taking out, 10 girls who are 15, 16, we're all sleeping in a tent, that might be a little weird.
I don't think I don't know.
So why wouldn't they let me see it? Would they let me do that?
I don't think you would want to be in a tent with a bunch of 15-year-old girls.
No, not really, but yeah, only because
have you heard
because some of them are gonna
girls talk lately?
Yeah, some of them look older and might be a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
women are maturing earlier, and they have different definitions of propriety. However, it's still against the law, so we wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but a lot of fellas would. And a lot of gay fellas would, do the same thing with the young males if they were of the same age. So
I can't agree with that.
No,
I can't agree.
You don't think?
I
don't think a gay
known,
scout leader would have sex with like a 16-year-old gay kid in there?
I think it's far and few between. Mm-hmm. How many teachers, whether they're attracted to their students or not, actually have sex with the students?
Yeah,
how many more teachers are there than scout leaders?
I mean, not very many that we know about.
Right, but how many more teachers are there percentage-wise?
This reminds me, we might have to put my Disney thing on. I was going to ask you this because we got this discussion with my wife, and she was freaking out that I was saying this, and I said, "You got to ask Sable." And I'll start with just a basic question: like, who would you rather have sex with if you had to? Would you rather have sex with Chris Hemsworth, Thor, or Rhea Perlman?
Who's Rhea Perlman?
Danny DeVito's wife. She was on Taxi, she was on not Taxi, but Cheers. She's the little chick. I'm gonna pull her up here. Hang on a second. I'm now
either
pulling.
like a muscular dude or
what I'm getting at is hot
woman.
Guy or ugly chick.
Chick.
So you'd rather do the ugliest chick rather than the hottest guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather.
My wife was like perplexed. She's like, but she'd be Janet Reno or Brad Pitt. Janet Reno,
right?
Of course.
Chick.
And how come my computer just stopped working all of a sudden? It won't pull up, it won't pull up pictures anymore.
I'm sorry.
What the hell's going on? So you take ugliest broad over hottest guy, right?
Anytime.
Yeah. So would I.
Day,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, chicks, if you ask them, you say, Catherine Zeta-Jones or. Michael, what's his name? Michael Moore. They would go, Catherine Zeta-Jones. They would take the chick a lot of times, like way more than the dudes are pretty much cut and dried. Like, does she have a vagina? I'm on that.
Right.
Oh, he's got a penis? No. But the women are kind of more fluid on there. Like, he's gross.
I think it's socially. I think it's more acceptable for women to be
certainly more beautiful and lovely.
I agree, but that's part of why it's sort of women are bred as they grow up from little girls to think what's correct and how to be a woman and what's it like to be a girl and what's okay with sexuality from television and film and books and
That's
the way
Rhea.
that
That's Rhea
parents
Perlman.
act.
Remember her? Carla from Cheers.
Carla,
Yeah, Carla. I can remember her
yeah.
name. Yeah, I was so mean to point her out. I mean, she's
I'm sure she's
but she's
a
not as hot
wonderful
as Thor.
person. But
That's
see,
what I'm saying.
I just
But Thor has he has a wedding tackle down there. He's got the package down there.
I don't think of any guy as hot. In my personal definition of hot, it doesn't include men.
Right. When I say hot guy, I mean I wish I looked like that guy. That's what I mean when I
Right,
say
okay.
that.
All right, got it.
Currently, my current man crush is definitely Chris Hemsworth. Look at
Okay.
look at this guy.
Well,
My lord.
Since I was nerding out a little bit, I did want to mention that I'm watching Star Wars Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Did I mention that every episode now?
I've been watching it all during the podcast. It was very distracting to me. I wish you'd pay attention.
That's right. It's only 11 episodes out. Oh, it's really well done.
Mm-hmm.
I think Filoni, the producer, I guess, he's the main guy. He came from working with Lucas on the Clone Wars, and it's really well written. Well, there's a prequel book that came out called Star Wars: A New Dawn. I read a lot of Star Wars books. I tend to buy them, like all the new ones that come out, and read all the series ever since the Thrawn trilogy, which was some of the best reading I've ever had. But this New Dawn is really well written. I mean, character development, you're just sucked right into them and what's sort of motivating the characters. And I feel like this book, The New Dawn, is building the team. I promise not to give any spoilers, but if you like Star Wars and you weren't sure about this new reboot under Disney, A New Dawn is fantastic, and you should go out and read that.
Oh, I have to read it?
It's a book.
Oh.
It's a
Don't they have an
book.
audiobook?
I'm sure there's an audiobook.
I just want people to read to me now. I'm back to being like 3 years old, 4 years old.
Well,
Read
then,
me a story.
then you should have come a little before the podcast for bedtime because I'm reading Harry Potter to my kids.
I didn't get an invite.
We just started book 4. I've read every chapter but one because my 7-year-old read one chapter to me and recorded it while I was out.
All right.
So book 1, 2, and 3. Then we watched the movie. Now we're on book 4. And I got to say, I was quite surprised by book 3. I guess I can't talk about it at all, as everyone in the world hasn't read Harry Potter.
Well, they had a gay Jedi master who had sex with one of the Padawan learners. That was very topical, right?
In Harry Potter? What?
No, I don't know.
What?
Oh, you moved on to
I think
Harry
you're mixing
Potter.
your metaphors.
Yeah, I was. You moved too quick for me. I was still on Star Wars.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want to know about that. Well, I guess you're looking over at the clock obsessively.
We can keep going.
I guess we should wrap it up.
I didn't get to do my. Well, maybe we can close with I did some investigative reporting. Did you want to talk about that or save it for next week? Because it's still hot, this this vaccination thing.
Yeah, let's thank our sponsor for this week real quick and then hear about your
We have another
investigative
sponsor.
reports.
We have a new sponsor. Who is it?
Yeah, well, we have one new sponsor trying us out. And this week, I'd like to thank Notch.
Oh.
Notch.
I like the sound of that.
Like a notch in your belt, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Notch is a subscription service guaranteed to get you action. It's for men or women. And for one low monthly fee, you can give Notch your information and they will make your online dating profiles.
Yeah, they do your profile for you. I was at the meeting today when they came in. The salespeople came in. I like their basic their secret weapon was that they allow women to check your balance. You're checking your account balance through their site.
I missed that.
And they inflate it. So
they give you a
if
fake
bank
account?
Yeah. So if a woman wants to check, I like this Sable guy. Let's see how much he makes, and they'll see your checking account has like $700,000 in it. You're getting some action, buddy.
For the record, you're not going to find me on online dating. My few friends that are tell me all the horrors that everyone lies.
I liked it. I was on eHarmony. I called it eHop on me. I did pretty well.
If you had any trouble, which I'm assuming you didn't,
No,
then
that's good.
if you're one of those guys out there or ladies on online dating looking to build up your profile and really get some action.
Yeah.
Then,
Well, the ladies, you don't have to really. You can just put your own profile up there and say, "I'd like to have sex."
Because guys will shy away from certain things, and women
Well,
need to
that's
know
true.
how to doctor their profile too.
They will reduce the number of cats you have. They'll reduce maybe your weight, but they have a good rubric. They have a good system going over there. So try it out.
So, anyways,
Notch.
try out Notch. They're guaranteed to get you action. And
Thanks, Notch.
Yeah, thanks, Notch. We'll see how your sales go this week. I'm sure they'll be off the charts. Mm-hmm. So let's hear about some investigative reporting before we get out of here.
Yeah, I studied journalism. I don't know if you knew that in college.
Long Beach?
Yeah, Cal State Long Beach.
For 3 semesters?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I didn't really study that. I didn't even want to be a journalist. But I thought, I'm going to try to be an investigative reporter. I went over to Disneyland. I talked to a nurse there because, there's this unvaccinated woman. She brought measles to Disneyland. And people have, like you said, people are getting on the rides, they've all gone home now, and there's 103 cases now that trace back to the happiest place on earth.
And a few of them, and I didn't bring this up last week, a few of them were vaccinated, but the vaccine is only 97% effective.
Sure, which is why a lot of people need to get vaccinated, folks out there.
Right. But still, lots of people weren't vaccinated, so now we have this epidemic of
It is
measles.
becoming a Peter pandemic.
Pandemic.
And these actually aren't the only diseases that have gotten some traction lately, because actually there was, it's not the first time, back in the 60s, they were actually successful in eradicating Jiminy rickets and Pinolio before they got, too big, right? And there's another thing happened. I was talking to a nurse there who's, excuse me, she's in the know. They have a good PR department over there. They've been able to keep this stuff hush hush. So she spoke to me under, strict. I'd say she's anonymous. I'm not going to say her name, but a freezer in one of the parks, the restaurants in the California Adventure, I think it was. It broke down, but instead of throwing the stuff away, they just put it into another freezer, and several guests stayed in bed a few days with gastroenteritis. That was pretty bad. There was a medical team swabbed some of the seats on Space Mountain, and they found traces of Poca hanta virus and hepatitis B. That was another one that was pretty deadly. And Aladdinfluenza. So bring some of those Purell wipes with you when you go there. I mean, I would do like the seat in front of you because people are sneezing on the thing. So wipe that down. Wipe your seat down. Turnstiles. Give them a good wipe. More serious outbreaks of previously thought to be controllable diseases like cholera fecae and Winnie the Pooh bubonic plague also have been showing up. Those are under control, though, thanks to the quick work of health officials. Other rides being examined after they've shown links to some other ailments such as Jaffarthritis, Moulangina, and Tinkerbell's palsy. It's hard to figure out how I wrote this down. Wikipedia helps when you're. So, another person currently under observation showing symptoms for what they think could be Ebola Deville, and that's unconfirmed though. Some of the glow-in-the-dark paint they use in the Haunted Mansion has been found to contribute to Geppetto ovarian cancer and Rapunzel lymphoma. So be very wary before you go in there. So. Anyway, they're working on it, though, so just make sure you get your shots before you go down to Disneyland.
All right. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. That was Dave Smith at the Indispensable Thursday Show. You can find us at theindispensable.show.com. Tweet us at SableandDave, or catch me on Snapchat, SC137.
Yeah, and that's a catchy name, SC137. What? What? What the hell is that?
Or tweet me at Sable. You can't change your username on Snapchat, okay? I didn't want to delete my account and start
over. It's got a good ring to it, okay. And write us a review on iTunes.
That's right.
Yeah, that'll help us out a lot. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. All right. Bye.